This is Rick Harsch, teaching my master class in fiction. I can skip this ad in 3 days. As many of you have perceived by now, what started this class is my objection to the absolute shit, horrific shit, that is being peddled in master classes all over the universe online, the online universe. And in these days of isolation, desperate people become more desperate, and they seek such external things as the instructions of pretentious assholes like Neil Gaiman, Patterson. I can't remember them all, but none is more butt stinking, fart slapping, gargoylish as Joyce Oates. I've had her on my show to prove that she was a pretentious monster. But recently I came across another monstrosity of hers in which she says that the enemy of good writing is interruption. Being interrupted. Now, everybody knows that writing is at its best. Literature is an attempt to understand the universe vis-a-vis the human, or just the universe. Better off without the human, we all know that too. So probably the best literature would be written by and or for monkeys. But that's another video, and I need to get some. But as you can see, monkeys are often interrupted. Now this monkey was interrupted. It was shot through the head with a toothpick, and he's okay. He's cool. He's fine. What I wouldn't give to shoot Joyce Oates through the head with a spear or a toothpick. But she'd just move. She would just force her way onto you. She would just read what came out of the spear, and on that would be many bad ideas for writers, such as to think that the enemy of good writing is interruption. What interrupts you is the flow of life, the unpredictability of life, the dog that is supposed to be shut up in the basement while Joyce writes, gets out, comes and says, "I'm hungry, Joyce," and she goes berserk and she burns the dog. And this is don't quote me on this, but this is absolutely true. There's a YouTube video that shows Joyce Oates setting her own dog on fire. It's a horrible thing. I don't recommend watching it. But in order to give you a negative example, I thought maybe I should give you a positive example. And I'm going to choose a woman writer, because then the two examples would be of the same gender. Lorrie Moore, for instance. I don't know Lorrie Moore. I've never met Lorrie Moore, but I've read Lorrie Moore. And I know that Lorrie Moore, interrupted, would be like a fish swimming in a river that comes upon a rock and just slips around it. Whereas Joyce Oates would come upon the rock and she would just bash her head into it repeatedly until she was belly up in the water, which is how we'd like to see her, but somehow she'd survive it. People would look and say, "Oh, that one's dead," and she wouldn't be. The best thing would be if they just grab her, take her out of the river, and throw her onto shore, and wherein she would expire. Her last words being, "I was just about to say. The way fish expire, and but Lorrie Moore would just keep going. Lorrie Moore's dog comes up there, and she'd take some time out, and she'd love her dog a little bit, and might even say, let's go for a walk, and the writing process wouldn't stop with Lorrie Moore, because she'd still be thinking about what she wants to write about. She might even use the flow of life, which involves interruptions, to inspire new ideas. So I'm not saying that you should go right out and buy a Lorrie Moore book, but you should. And don't quote me on this, but you should go right out and buy a Lorrie Moore book, because she wouldn't be a masterclass teacher. She would have enough humility to know that whatever works for Lorrie Moore, besides being human, is something that might not work for everyone. Whereas Joyce Carol Oates has the let's call it euphemistically, the balls to think that she knows what's right, and comes right out and says declaratively that the enemy of good writing is interruption. And also that, and as we said in the first one, powerful writing always comes from confronting taboos. Well, taboo to Joyce is interruption, and she calls it an enemy. So she can't even get her own shit straight in her own fucking master's class. So, up your ass, Joyce! Read Lorrie Moore. She's a cool cat. Thank you.